Whether you are a justice warrior or you have a service that makes all the difference and changes people's lives, you have important life or death things to share on the internet. And maybe it's not just about your service. Maybe there is a huge freaking genocide happening, and women and children are going through unspeakable horrors in the world right now. It's time to stop spinning your wheels, wasting time, money, and energy building your brand alone on social media. Hi, I'm Sophia Spallino, the host of Social Equity, the podcast, here to help you build your own profitable personal brand, the social equity you can rely on to make the money that you deserve. Are you ready, Miss Future Millionaire? Let's get into it. Welcome back to Social Equity, the podcast that literally means building social equity. And what I mean by that is building a space for you, a platform on the internet where you take up space unapologetically to build your brand. Social equity is building an asset for yourself, an equity that is value the way we talk about money. Now, many people think that the name of this podcast, without knowing anything about me, might have to do with social equity, as in making a change in the world. And the cool thing about what I do is I help women who are incredibly powerful and incredibly purposed. So today, the two meanings of the name of the podcast will truly be colliding as I have on AnnaLekasMiller, and I'm so excited for her to be here. So the reason you might want to listen to this podcast is because if you're here, you have important life or death things to share on the internet. Whether you are a justice warrior or you have a service that makes all the difference and changes people's lives, you have important life or death things to share on the internet. And maybe it's not just about your service. Maybe there is a huge freaking genocide happening, and women and children are going through unspeakable horrors in the world right now. But you have a vision for the world to be a better place. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, you care about people and you have a vision to make the world a better place. You want to use your voice. And I'm so excited to introduce one of my favorite profitable personal brand coaching clients, AnnaLekasMiller, who's an author, a video journalist. She is a storytelling strategist, and she has over 10 years of experience in journalism in the Middle East. What a boss. 10 years, y'all, in the Middle East. She's covered war, she's covered conflict, she's covered migration. And after working with me, she's adapted her reporting to social media, which is really exciting, and she's deployed the PPB blueprint, plug and make money models to build her brand, her voice, creative videos about the ongoing violence in Gaza. Her Instagram has grown from 1K to 5.5, I believe. She grew 4.5K on Instagram alone. Plus, she's gone viral again and again with hundreds of thousands of views in less than 3 months of working with me. She's helping journalists, social justice advocates, conscious entrepreneurs harness the power of storytelling and share that on social media so they can spread their message and get more eyeballs. Y'all are going to love her. Now, this is my favorite part. Anna's book is called Love Across Borders. Not only is she a journalist, she's the author of Love, which, if you know me, I am so driven by relationship and love, and I love love, and this book is beautiful. And the first thing when my mama saw it on my coffee table, she opened it and she was like, "Isn't she beautiful?" She is beautiful, y'all. Anna is beautiful inside and out. And this book has been featured in Elle Magazine, Jezebel, Daily Beast, Boston Globe, and soon to be featured on NPR, which shouldn't be shocking at all, because that's the power of having a profitable personal brand, because of how Anna shows up on social media. She is going to be on NPR radio to talk about her book. So Anna is a prime example of someone who's built a profitable personal brand and has used her voice for good. Anna, I'd love to accept your request as soon as you send that out to me. I want to welcome you to the show. I am so freaking proud of who you are and how you're using your voice. Let's go. While I'm waiting for Anna to jump on and send the request, there she is. I want you guys to know that this is your space to ask questions. You share your story on social media and how you can make your story go viral. I want you to be listening to everything we're saying, absorbing everything we're saying, because your story will make a difference. You just need to know how to share it. Hi, Anna. Welcome to Social Equity.
How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm so glad to have you.
Oh my God, me too. I can't believe we're starting the year off by talking about making the world a better place through social media. It makes me so happy.
It needs to be talked about. And for those of us who have the platform and who are building platforms, it's so important to know your values and know what you care about and use your voice. And that's exactly what you're doing. I know that when you came into the program, we had a conversation about, like, is it safe to use your voice? Or what if people don't like you? And what if it starts a war on your social media? And I just want to see how have you managed all this going viral for sharing what's going on in the Middle East when so many people have been staying silent?
Oh my gosh, it's such a good question because it's something that I notice is so different from doing journalism the traditional way versus doing journalism this way on social media and really having to work with the platforms and work with the algorithm the way it is, the way that you teach so brilliantly. You know, when I was starting as a journalist, we were always told, like, don't engage with the trolls, don't feed the trolls, especially as a woman, especially as a woman of color. It was just like, that is an automatic death sentence. You're not going to do that, that you're just asking for your own demise. And then, so it was a really big step for me to be like, okay, people are going to be mad. That's the way the internet works. And I notice among journalists too, people having a lot of fear around using the internet in this way and not liking the fact that it kind of does prioritize starting those wars, if you want to call it that. And but yeah, sort of using things like talking, starting a video with a hook, starting a video with something controversial, doing something that's going to get people talking, that's going to get people riled up, actually engages people in a way that there might be a little war going on in the comments section, but your content is getting pushed out to so many more people that need to see it, that the benefit is so much worth the cost in my personal experience. And now, I mean, the way that I am on social media, I would expect to get so many Zionist trolls, for example, which I do. They love giving me a hard time. But it's so minimal compared to everyone else who's saying things like, thank you for this information. Thank you so much. I don't see this in the mainstream media. Thank you so much for supporting Palestine or any other social justice causes. So it's just, my advice to people who would be afraid of that is that, the benefits really do outweigh the costs when it's something that you believe in. And there's, so many people are more quiet when they're positive. And it's actually changed the way that I engage on social media too. Now I try not to get angry on things that make me angry because I know that helps them. And I try to comment positively on things that I find, that I want more of in the world.
Exactly. And I think one thing that has really stuck out for me personally, professionally on the internet, the best advice I can give anyone in your life is be known for what you are for rather than what you're against. And then you're able to speak on these social justice issues in a way where people can come to your platform and feel uplifted. Not that you're like sharing just negativity, but you're able to really be known for what you're for. And that's going to attract people to you. When you have a profitable personal brand, the biggest thing that keeps people coming back to you is your values. And it's taking that risk, going like, okay, there might be people who disagree with me and they might fall off. Like today, having you on the show, I might lose some followers. Like the door can just hit them on the booty, like they can go. Like I'm so proud of you and what you're standing for. And I will say this one thing, I am against virtue signaling. Like people who just jump on these, like, sadly very trendy things in the news and act like they really care. I think it's important as a brand, as a person, to really think about like what matters to you, and you do speak up about those things. And when it means something to your heart, you do. And if not, if that authentically isn't like your place, then like chill out and support the experts like you who are actually getting the real news, really caring about sharing the justice, sharing the true voices that are on the ground, and support those people. So I'm really glad that I can support you and everyone out there. Like I know there's been so many events in the world where people were just all about virtue signaling, and I think that that's like you gotta support the content creators who really have the knowledge. And you are one of those people where I can say confidently, Anna really has the knowledge, the fairness, the clarity. And y'all all should run to her page and go hear what she's sharing because she's loud and proud about it. And I'm just really proud of what you've been able to accomplish. I mean, you've gone completely viral for sharing things that questions that people really don't know how to, like that one video that went viral that I keep going back to is the one like the journalist being trapped in Gaza. And what was the hook you used for that? Do you remember?
Something like, what if I told you that everything you see coming out of Gaza is filmed by people who can't get out?
Yes. And what's so powerful about that is, well, one, it's true. Two, it pulls on your heart and you're just like, whoa. And it helps us all because we live in a reality where we don't think like unless you're putting yourself there, unless you're consuming this content to understand what's going on in the world, the gravity of this, we're not there. And you're able to create content with hooks that pull us out of our American fast-paced, not concerned lifestyle and bring us right into that moment. So that's so powerful. So powerful. How did you decide to go from journalism traditionally to social media journalism?
That's a really good question. I think it was, it started a lot with sort of having to promote my book and being really motivated to reach as many readers as possible. My book that's right here, it's about, it's all about my story of myself and my partner who I met in Istanbul. We were both journalists. He's from Syria, I'm from the US, but we had so much in common, except for the way that we moved through the world. I had a US passport and he was essentially a refugee. And this really affected our relationship because he was kicked out of Turkey, which was the country we both called home. We lived in Iraq for a while covering the war on ISIS. And then we eventually moved to the UK. So we had this crazy journey that, it could have broken us up several times because there were times when I didn't know if we could physically be in the same place. And then I think as like a survival mechanism, I was like, well, let me just find other couples who've been in this situation. And so that kind of helped me deal with my own reality as I was working through it. And I met all these incredible people from around the world. I mean, people along the US-Mexico border who've been split up by US immigration policies. Another couple, they're a Palestinian couple in Lebanon. They're actually the ones that are going to be featured on NPR. They're super cute. And they're so wonderful. And I'm so happy also that we're doing the Palestine story at this time. And many other people. And then I started meeting all these people too who also had a love across borders story. So I wanted them to read the book, and I kind of was really motivated for the first time to be using social media to find exactly those people and who that would be. So that's when I reached out to you, Sophia, and I realized that when it was around this time last year when you had sort of started your agency and you were pitching that in the way that you do, in the brilliant way that you do. And I was like, oh my God, there's a method to this woman's madness. Like maybe she can help me market my book. And we just had this consultation that completely changed the way I was seeing video. I mean, I had been an on-camera reporter when I lived in Iraq, and the way we write scripts is totally different. It's like, today, blah, 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 blah happened over here. And that, of course, would be super boring on social media and people would just scroll past it. So even learning something as simple as like the controversial hook that like gets someone being like, oh, what the fuck is this? I'm going to keep watching was totally, it completely changed the way that I write things. And and just sort of learning everything about how to show up for an audience, how to tailor make things for Instagram or TikTok or, wherever you're creating your content. Because one thing that I see a lot of journalists and news agencies doing who want to be on social media, who want to be reaching, audiences where they are, is they just take whatever that they put on TV and they adapt it for social media.
Yeah.
Right. You're laughing because it's stupid. And I'm trying to get people to see that this is stupid and that they need to be thinking in ways that work for the platform because, among kind of the trad journalists, my people, my friends, I hang out with them all the time, but they're constantly talking about, journalism is dying. It's the failure of democracy. People aren't engaged. They don't want any information. They're bemoaning their fate. And, a lot of people are getting layoffs. It's a tough time. And my experience starting to actually adapt my reporting, the things I care about for social media, is exactly the opposite. People are so engaged. They're commenting all the time. They're super hungry for information. And I think that it's our journalistic duty as people that know how to do this, that know how to tell the truth from the lies, that know how to combat disinformation, that know how to tell a story and a good story when we hear one, to be reaching audiences where they are, which is here.
And I see what you do, almost like how nurses and paramedics take that oath to stop what they're doing at any time and take care of someone in need. The journalism that you do on social media is so necessary because there are people who are using social media and clickbaiting for bad, whereas you're coming here with a very fair and I want to just present the information. I want to tell the story so people's voices can be heard. That very, I don't know if neutral is the word, but like truly for justice. Like it's not for just personal gain. And that's the heart that needs to be behind everything we do as service providers. And I just love knowing that, like, I've been able to put a little bit more power in your hands. Cause I know, like, when you're like, we just had that one consultation, it's like, all you need is one coach to like help you see what you have inside of you. And it clicked really fast. And you've been one of those clients who have taken action. Like I give you a plug and make money template and you make it your own. You don't just let me spoon feed you, because I do spoon feed clients very well. Like they come and they go through those resources, but like you make everything your own. And now you've been able to craft a business that literally niches to help journalists do this. And it's just this trickle down effect of magic. Like I can't wait to see all the journalists that you help that are going to be a part of the changes in the world, because as you said, well, one, we can't really trust the news. Two, we don't watch it because it's boring. And three, when we follow a journalist or any social justice warrior or in social media, we're able to see them as a personal brand that we like, know, trust. And so because I can look at you and your day and see your relationship with your partner and see, oh, Anna, I like her, I trust her, then I'm able to listen to what you're saying and get to know you so fast. Whereas I think traditional journalism, I'll just speak from very simple experience. I've always loved Good Morning America.
Okay.
And I love Robin Roberts. Now I know, because like gay loves gay, but like I know she's a lesbian. And it took me my whole life to get to know her, like her, trust her. And now I follow her on Instagram and I'm like, oh, she's a lesbian too. Like I get so excited. But like that space from like, no, trust in traditional media could take 10 years, right? Till we become obsessed with this news anchor that we just vibe with, right? But that trust factor can be dialed into maybe 1 hour, 2 hours of binge watching someone on social media's content, because you fall in love with their personal brand. You're able to trust them. We're able to want to just binge everything you do. And not only will that get your message across the world, but because of your profitable personal brand, as you rise and lift other people's voices up, you're going to sell your books. Like, it's just so cool. I'm so excited.
I'm totally stealing that in terms of like you're kind of binging content, and that creates that trust, because this is, a big thing that we struggle with as journalists who are using social media to do our reporting. Is so many people are saying, social media is so full of misinformation. It's so full of bad actors, bad agents, which yes, absolutely it is. I mean, I think there's something like a lot, much, much more deep fakes going on than there are people that are combating deep fakes. And
tell us about that for people who are listening and don't know what deep fakes are. Share.
Deep fakes are basically something that can use typically AI to be creating a video, maybe even like this one that makes it seem like me and Sophia are talking, but it isn't actually us talking. And I mean, it's sort of an evolution of disinformation. For example, typically it's something, a less sophisticated example would be using a picture of something and then putting a caption where it's something else. So one of the things that's been happening in Gaza a lot, for example, is taking a picture from the war in Syria and then saying that that's going on in Gaza, which isn't true. And there's ways to debunk this. There's ways to put it in, like one of the ways is to put it in something called a reverse Google image search, where you can search on Google the way you search a question, but you just put the image and they'll say where it is. So you can be like, oh, that's from the AFP in Syria. That's not from Gaza. One of the things that started happening in this particular war in these past 3 months is that AI technology has advanced to the point that they're actually creating auto-generated images. So they're not necessarily even taking something from a different war. They're just creating their own thing, saying like, make Israeli flags here, make this and this and this here. And it's really scary because there was, something that looked like this very, Al-Aqsa Mosque in Palestine, this very famous mosque that was on fire. That, of course, it wasn't actually on fire. So it's very easy to be like, what the fuck is going on?
This is horrible. So is this even, as humans, how do we combat this? Because just as a personal brand person of the internet, I worry that people put my face on corn. I worry that people, that scares me very much. So outside of my little bubble of who gives a care, this is a huge war. This kind of misinformation could cause things to blow, like people to light things up. I mean, this is dangerous. What do we do?
I mean, I think this is like such a reason why journalists should be really present here, because it's literally our full-time job and our training to be aware of what is misinformation and what's not and how to combat that. And I mean, one of the things that I've started to research more in depth is definitely like how AI generates these things. And it's something that I think about a lot in the upcoming US election, when like every 4 years, like disinformation is always a part of that story in some way. And now we have technology, more advanced and sophisticated than ever before. So what's going to be going on there? So I think that for this reason, it's really important for journalists to be in these spaces and to be using our skills to be educating people on what is right, what they can trust, and what they can't trust.
And that comes down to, do we trust the journalists? And then that comes down to, do we really trust them, like based on their personal brand? Like,
exactly.
Do they align with our values? One, but two, do we trust them to be unbiased? Do we trust them to not take money? Do we trust them to truly have an honorable, integrable career? That the only thing that can save us at this point is building that trust, which I do deeply believe comes from having a personal brand. That's why I call like what I teach AI proof, because eventually, if you don't have a personal brand, anything you'll do could be replaced, right? And that's a really scary, scary thought. For those of you watching, if you'd like to get access to my free training to help your business be AI proof, go to the link in my profile or DM me PPB. We would love to send that to you. And Anna has been teaching some incredible things too. I'm so excited to talk about what you're teaching. So I know that what you do is so powerful. You've really harnessed your power. You've been in PPB for how many months now?
I mean, I was in the inaugural, so however long that's been, I want to say that's like 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months now. And you've gone viral. You've grown thousands of followers. And what I'm so excited about is you're now teaching people how to create quality content. You and your partner have an agency. Yes, to help them create their own videos and edit those videos. And right now you're offering a workshop. Do you want to tell everyone about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we really want to be helping more people spread their message through social media. We want to be helping not just journalists, also humanitarians. Also, I know that a lot of your following is entrepreneurs. So we're especially, very passionate about helping socially conscious entrepreneurs reach new clients, anyone that really has a message to spread and wants to use storytelling to do good. We really want to help you do that and take everything that we've learned really in the past 3 months, honestly, from a lot of experimentation on social media. Not all of my videos have gone viral. It's been a learning curve, but I feel like I have a really good kind of idea of what works in these spaces at this point that I want to break that down and teach that to people. So what's really cool about what me and my partner do and sort of our particular marriage and skill set is the fact that he's an Emmy Award winning filmmaker. And so he can really shoot a beautiful video on anything. I mean, naturally, he works very well with a, full camera equipment set and everything, but he will also take my iPhone and, tell me if my hair looks weird and make the background look nice and everything. I mean, my mom will tell me like, oh, you looked really good in that video. And I'm like, thanks, that was all Salem because I look like a drowned raccoon most of the time. So, he's the visual technical person. He'll make sure the audio is perfect and he'll teach you how to do all those things too, because it's what he's really passionate about. Now, I'm the storyteller in the relationship. So I love to dig into your story, hear everything about you, hear everything about what makes you tick, what lights you up, and help you write a script that's going to communicate that to other people. I mean, you tell me a little bit about yourself. I'll have like 3 ideas off the top of my head for content that you should make because it's just something that I love doing for people. So
You're a writer.
Yeah, exactly. It's the writer in me. And so we're doing this workshop together to really give people the best of both those two worlds. And we're doing it online. We want to do it on January 14th. So, and I think we're going to do it at a time where we can get both the Europe crowd and the American crowd. So we're hoping to bring them all together. And, and we're just going to spend 2 hours going over the basics of the technicalities and talking about the basics of writing a script. And then we're going to send you off and you're going to do that. And then as part of the workshop, you get a included 30-minute one-on-one consultation with us. Ooh. Where we'll assess your script and we'll give you a couple ideas for where to go next. So it's really getting the bare bones of a digital strategy that then you can just absolutely run with in 2024.
Ooh, I love this. Oh, the confidence and like this is going to change someone's life who's never made a video before. This Absolutely. Is for you. If you've never made a video before, you've got an important message to get out and you've made videos, but like they haven't done well, this is for you. Is there any keyword that people can DM you?
Oh, yeah. If you just DM me video, I'll send you all the information. And, also, don't be shy because I know what it's like to not be a video person. I started as a writer. I mean, I was like a dyed in the wool. I'm always going to write things. Even my generation of journalists was very much like the writers are over here and the photographers are over here and the video people are over here and we don't fuck with each other. And, even like they would like a photographer might feel a little salty if like a writer thought that they could come like take photos and stuff. And then our industry just started changing in a way that we had to learn how to do absolutely everything. Like I went from, writing my little blogs, writing my little articles, all that stuff to having to be on camera and having to write scripts and having to direct a camera person about like, go shoot that, having to figure out how to edit a video. So I know what it's like to make that transition from thinking as a writer to thinking visually. It's much easier said than done. Yeah. But that said, I know what to do to help you do it too.
Yes. And as an entrepreneur, there's no way around it until you scale your business to hire someone to do something like this for you, which they can hire you and can I say his name correctly?
Yeah.
They're going to need to hire someone like you. But until that can happen, you can join this super affordable workshop and you can learn how to create on your own so that you can at least that's what I try to tell people about working with me. It's like, do you want to keep creating? They're like, well, I'll just do things on my own. I'm like, but if it hasn't worked for you before, it's like literally going to shop for a certain meal, a healthy meal, but you're walking in a candy store every time. You're like, but I went shopping for the meal. And it's like, but you were walking in the candy store. You're never going to find the healthy greens that you need and the chicken and blah, blah, blah. So, like, please just get the help you need so you can be supported to take those first few action steps and you're not wasting your time. Like, if you're going to do the thing and you're going to go to the store, you're going to leave your house, you're going to spend your money, you're going to spend your time, why not know what's going to set you up for success and what has been proven to work? I love giving people a framework. Like at the end of the day, I'm a coach and I work off of two things, energy and strategy. But I'm not going to just sit here and hand you like, oh, good energy. Like you have to have that belief and you have to have that mindset shift, which I know is what happened for you. You like saw yourself as this really powerful being, which is amazing. But then I had to hand you strategy. I had to hand you plug and make money models. And then you had to take that. You had to take the action. And I think if everyone could just get into a space in 2024 where they go, okay, this hasn't worked for me. I mean, let's just be real. Let's stop doing things that don't work and let's start doing things that do in every area of our lives. What would happen? You would wake up in 2025 and you would have lots of viral videos. Your business would look completely different and the world would be a much better place. But it all starts with making one choice. So let that first decision be to join Anna's wonderful class that she is going to be having. Is this a one-day class or is this a like
It's gonna be a 1-day class, the first one, but I'd love to keep doing them. So, even if you're like, okay, I have something going on the 14th, I can't do that. Please DM me anyway, because I'd love to make a little Facebook group or something like that. And then, we can start doing them when we get a group that's big enough available. So, and it would be great to sort of have a little network going as well, where people could share ideas, much like we do in PPB. So, please don't hesitate to get in touch if this is, any kind of interesting to you.
Yes. Okay, and I want to circle back to your content now. What has been your most viral video and how has that been specifically handling the controversy? Like, what is the craziest thing that's happened so far?
Oh, I mean, I think there's something to be said about handling the controversy, but also something to be said about having a strategy, which we spoke about as well. I would say the videos that have done the best have been the one about the Gaza journalists. And I'm so happy about that one because there's these journalists that are on the ground in Gaza, Palestinian journalists who are civilians affected by the conflict, who are literally documenting the war on their cell phones. As Israel cuts the electricity, they barely have any internet, and yet they're still uploading footage to Instagram and showing the world what's going on. And they're doing an amazing job doing it. They're also doing these like incredible edits. Like, I mean, if any journalist out there is making incredible like social media documentaries, it's these guys. Like, they are absolutely blow me away, both in just their courage and bravery and endurance and perseverance. And and I want to do everything that I can to support them, because another thing that's going on is Instagram Meta definitely deprioritizing Palestinian content and content about Palestine and supporting Palestinians, to the point that these journalists who are risking their lives right now are, not showing up is the first thing you see when you try to see what's going on in the world, which I think is absolutely criminal. And, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that I am also shadow banned at this point. But one of the reasons why I didn't think I was shadow banned for a long time is because so many people have engaged with my content that it actually helps lift it, even though it is, being suppressed more than if I was, talking about something else. So again, this is why it's so important to be actively engaging with people that you want to support. Don't just be like, oh yeah, that was cool, like I'm moving on with my life. Like it, share it, save it, like really, really drill down on kind of creating that world that you want to see through Instagram. And I would say and then strategy kind of comes up with another one that did really well, which is related to this, actually, it's, 3 ways to beat the algorithm. And then I did a second follow-up to that one because so many people engaged with the first one.
Yes.
They were actually really cute. It was one of the most adorable things I think I've ever experienced as a journalist. People started giving their tips as well. And like one of the tips was to act as if something is sort of about like makeup or travel or lifestyle. So I had a bunch of I think more people complimented my makeup than ever in my life. Everyone's like, so the Palestinian flag is red, green, and black and white for those who don't know. And people would be like, love the red, green, and black eye makeup. Like, Oh. It was just really funny. And I think it was like all these teenage girls that were just like, and I love them. But who knows, maybe teenage boys too. And yeah, so then I made another one because even like within the comments on that video I made, I got enough sort of feedback to make 3 more, which were kind of updated. And you can tell in looking at those videos that those tips work because people are literally applying them in the comments to boost my content.
Yes.
And it's an interesting case study. It's just a really interesting case study at the end of the day. So, my tips are definitely to have a strategy, be following what works, study your own content. You're going to do a lot of stuff that doesn't work. I think a lot of people are really afraid of that controversy and, maybe pissing someone off or someone being like, oh, you're like ugly and terrible or, whatever mean people say. And in my experience, the worst thing that happens is like I work really hard on something and then not a lot of people see it. And I'm like, why did I work so hard on that? But that's a lot less scary than sort of, I don't know, someone saying something mean or threatening or hurtful or something like that. So that's a lot easier to kind of like get over and move on. And the thing is once you do that video that really does well and really reaches a lot of people, you keep reaping the rewards. I mean, like I would be being consistent about videos and doing stuff that, maybe they would get say 5,000, 7,000, etc. But it was, that one video about the journalists in Gaza that was just like pulling people from all over the internet to my page. And like there were days that I sat around, I did not do anything. And I would like look at my phone and have grown like 300 followers or something like that just because of that one video. So it's like, I'm sure you've had this experience too, Sophia, like all it takes, and you don't know which video it's going to be because that's the mystery of the algorithm. If we knew how the algorithm worked, we would all be rich. We wouldn't be here trying to figure it out. But like if you just sort of like hit it just right, you're like, wow. And then that, for me as a journalist, that just means more people seeing my work. Absolutely. That means potentially more people reading my book. That means more people who are just engaging with the content and telling me what they want to see next and letting me kind of lead by serving them. So it's really exciting.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. And like what you just said, if we all knew how the algorithm worked, we would all be rich. I do want to let people know, like, you don't have to have a lot of followers to get a lot of views. You don't have to have a lot of followers to make a lot of money online. The truth is, you were at 1,000 followers when that video went viral and you grew to 4.5, so 5.5 now, right?
Yeah, it's a little over 5.5.
That's amazing. And what you were saying about reaping the benefits. So what I want to remind people is you said like, oh, even if I didn't post anything, like when something goes viral, that's when I really want you to double down. And that's why like sometimes you'll get like a viral hangover. Like it's a lot of emotions like coming at you at one time. You might feel vulnerable if you created something personal, right? What I want to encourage people is always have content banked. Right now, me and my team have at all times 30 days of content ready to go. And that is because if something highly emotional happens in my life, I'm able to still have my business running. I'm still able to make money. I'm still able to have my accounts growing. And that's something that I want to encourage you to do when you're feeling good, be banking content. And then 2, when something does happen and you get blessed, like, okay, you obviously put in the work for this. But when the thing goes viral, it's so important to ride that wave, fully ride that wave. And I have noticed for me and for clients, when something goes viral, you're going to have a big wave, and then you will lose some followers because people come in and then they realize, oh, maybe I don't love everything she posts, that could happen. Know that that's normal. It's 100% normal. There's going to be some dip. If you gain 100 followers, you might lose 10. That's just what happens. And the goal is to always be creating more and sharing your values throughout your content to where people, once they investigate you, they're like, oh, I do really love her. I do vibe with her. And so that's why sharing your values is so great, because then you're never having to try to convince someone to love you or trust you. Like, they just do. They came in knowing your beliefs and they love you. That's why I'm so vocal about I'm a lesbian. If that's a problem for you, then you don't want to pay me, and I won't try to convince you to pay me, right? And one other thing that you said that I want to touch on is, if we all knew that, we'd have a lot of money. If you have a sales strategy, you can make a lot of money. Now, it depends on your purpose of social media. Right now, you're building the agency. It's not necessarily direct selling a product or even a service to a lot of people. Your goal is probably primarily to have a few high ticket clients, right? So that's different. I want people to realize all you need are 2 to 5 high ticket clients per month. And not only are your bills are paid, you're living in abundance, you're fully supported, so you can fully support these clients. It doesn't take much. And if you could step back and not let any of those limiting beliefs get to you in 2024, oh, I need this and need that. No, just keep creating content. Something is going to give. If you get 200,000 views on a video, and then you go into your stories and you sell in your stories and you sell to 2 people, 2 out of 200,000, you can have your whole lifestyle paid for. So create, and believe that the world is big enough, because it absolutely is. And when you create, one thing that you were saying too that was really good is support the content that you love, right? All these people giving you the not fake compliments, but essentially the fake compliments to promote that video, right? And so when we create content where we're not directly asking people to comment or ask a question, one thing we always want to create for, no matter what, is, are we providing enough value that this video is shareable and savable? Because if it's savable, it tells the algorithm that people thought it was so important they need to come back to it. And if it's shareable, it tells the algorithm that more people need to see it. And not only is it telling the algorithm that to push it, it's also sending it to people that they're choosing. So those are the 2 metrics that matter the most. I always say it's not about the likes or comments. Those are amazing. Those will help. But the true indicators that these algorithms, both TikTok and Instagram, are looking for right now is watch time. It's is the video being watched all the way through? And that's why they should go to your workshop, Anna, so they can learn how to write scripts that keep people engaged throughout, which is so important. And if you're not using a script and you're doing a B-roll video, knowing that, say you get to decide between a 5-second video or a 4-second video, and it really doesn't matter to you. It's not going to change the quality of the content, anything like that, or shorten the message. Maybe choose the 4-second video, because that's a 20% difference in time, right? 5 seconds versus 4 seconds. Now, if you can keep the viewer engaged for the totality of 4 seconds, you've got 100% watch through rate. But if you can only keep the viewer engaged for 4 out of 5 seconds, you've got 80% watch through rate, which will lower you in the algorithm. So it's always something to think about. Every second matters. This is where strategy matters. This is where understanding the why behind creating matters. And if you want to learn more about this, there's 2 ways that you can grow your business. 1, join Anna's workshop so you can start creating right away. Learn the basics of creating videos, the lighting, the camera, the conversations that need to be had, especially if you want to tell stories about social justice and you're a conscious entrepreneur. And 2, my PPP program that Anna is a client of, we are going to be closing doors of the beta version of the program at the end of the month. So I will never offer this price again ever in my entire career. It costs 10 times more than the beta price to work with me in VIP. And it's a fraction, an absolute fraction. So if you're like, Sophia, I've been wanting to work with you. I want 2024 to be the year that things change. and you want that moment like Anna had, that breakthrough moment where like everything starts to click and your business starts being truly built on a firm foundation of building a profitable personal brand, DM me PPB, and we would love to talk with you and even give you a free strategy session where whether or not you work with me, you leave knowing exactly what pieces you need to put into place to get your business to where you want it to be.
Oh. I mean, one thing that you just said, actually talking about, talking about what you said from the perspective of a journalist in terms of making something of value that is saved and shared. One of the things that strikes me is that the way that we often are trained to make news is to just be like, oh, this is happening. Like, and just leave it there. It's not our job to make it better. It's not our job to do anything about it. It's just our job to tell you. And what I've noticed is really different about creating content for social media, which I think could make journalism much better in the future, is to approach that from a service perspective and to be like, this is happening. Here's how you can understand it better. Here's how you can have a better conversation about it. Here's how you can debunk the disinformation. Here's, some action items, some way that you can help. Yeah. And it's been a really good challenge for me to be thinking about incredibly depressing stories that are completely outside of my control. But from that perspective of, how can I help someone maybe have a more productive conversation about this? How can I help open someone's mind a little bit over here? How can I help, help them know what's true from what's not true? So I really kind of challenge journalists to be thinking in that way. And that's another thing that we're going to talk about more at the workshop in that conversation.
I love that. I just think it's so important to have a purpose beyond this being a career or making money, because that's not enough for me, at least, to wake up every day and want to be excited about what I do. Like, it needs to make a difference. It needs to change lives. And what's going on right now, if you and the people you're lifting up right now don't talk about it, the world wouldn't know the truth. Like, it's very, very, very scary that where I live in the South, in Louisiana, this is not what people are talking about, and definitely not the angle that people are taking. And it's really, really disheartening. So to see people being brave enough to share what you're sharing and being able to educate someone like me who lives in a part of the world where we're literally told the opposite is really important. And I know someone out there listening, like, if you were turned off by the conversation, but you still felt like your heart being pulled to listen, maybe there's something inside where oh, maybe I haven't been told the total story. Maybe I haven't been told the truth. And that is what good journalism does. It makes you question, and it helps you to make up your mind for yourself, because you're being presented with information that maybe you wouldn't have had in front of you before. So I love that's what you're sharing. I believe in your purpose. I also believe in your strategy, and I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so much for your support. And it's also just been so amazing to be sharing these videos with you, being in such a different context than my own, where, my life often feels like an echo chamber where we're all just really angry and sad about the war in Gaza at the same time. And so knowing that these videos are reaching out of that echo chamber, which is, as much as we love social media and as much as we believe in the power of social media, the algorithm does enforce these echo chambers. And that's a huge thing that we need to think about and talk about as journalists as well, that, we can't have the answers to, because it's in the hands of these mega corporations. But it's incredibly empowering to me to know that these videos and this information is reaching you and your community, that you're spreading the word, and, that we're all just helping people let in other perspectives and ask questions and, come to us with everything and anything that they want to know more about.
It will always come down to this for me. People need to care about people. Like, no matter what. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you believe in. I don't give any craps about your religion. If your religion is justifying hurting anyone, that is heartbreaking. And we all carry pain from where something based on culture or religion has affected us. And we won't all be able to relate to the pain that's going on in the world, but we can relate to experiencing pain or being ostracized for a belief. And I would invite everybody listening to go back into that and hijack that old feeling. I love talking about that, like hijacking feelings so you can have empathy for what's going on, even if you don't understand, even if you don't understand enough to agree or disagree. We are talking about human lives, and that is why it is so important to get these messages out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
I couldn't agree more.
much.
Thank you.
And thank you for educating us on deepfakes, because
Oh my
that's
gosh, of course, it's my pleasure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, before we go, what do you think was like the one thing in PPB that was the game changer for you? Like, if you're like, there is this one thing, like, what was that?
Gonna make me pick one.
Okay, two.
Oh my gosh, so many things. I mean, for me, I think I was really confident with the storytelling aspect, but of course, coming up with a strategy of how to do that was, really game changing. But I would say what's really been incredible is just sort of the business know-how that you very easily and digestibly apply in each session. I mean, that was something that I had no idea about. And I can't believe that I was like trying to start a business without it. I'm like, oh my God, like, of course things need to like redirect to like what you're trying to sell. Otherwise, what's the point? So really, that both helped me in terms of my own personal messaging, which I'm a journalist. My job is all about communication at the end of the day. So even like how I would help a client in terms of be like, okay, so what is your message? What are we trying to tell people? Where I might have just made a video for them before and been like, look, you look so pretty and you're talking so nice and whatever. And now I'm really like, okay, so what are you trying to tell your client? Who's your ideal client? Who are we talking to right now? And that's helped me serve my own clients so much more. And I mean, I would say the other thing is just being a woman and being surrounded by a bunch of other women as well, and sort of having this perspective on business that, I don't want to say it's like very feminine versus masculine or something, because I'm not even sure how much I believe in that. But let's just say it's kind of a feminine approach, for lack of a better word in the moment.
It's not bro marketing. We believe in integrity and
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
This might just be my bias towards women being like, it's much nicer and therefore it's feminine.
It's amazing. It's like 50% queer women in the community,
absolutely.
at least. Yeah.
It's amazing. And just to sort of be like, okay, we're going to talk about making money. We're going to talk about being really shameless about wanting to be successful and wanting to see success for ourselves and each other, but also doing that with integrity, doing that in a way that's serving people, doing that in a way that's not this sort of like macho, like, winner takes all, like step on all the people to get to the top, like kind of a thing that would really throw me off personally, because that's not the way I see the world or want to be in the world, or it's gross. That's been really amazing to sort of reframe just a view of business and seeing that there's other ways to do it, that there's other ways to be successful that don't have to be this this exploitative kind of a thing that's really made the world terrible. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. It makes my heart so happy. I love words of affirmation, but I couldn't agree more. I wanted to create a space, a community where when I rise, other women rise. And just being in that energy where a woman can look at you and go, I could do this thing, so look at me and my eyeballs. You can do this thing. And here's the steps I actually took to get here, and I'll hand them to you because it took me 8 years in the industry. It took me so much time. It took me, at this point, $30,000, $40,000 of coaching, and I'm offering programs at fractions of that cost so women can succeed. And you're offering this workshop at what is it, $100 to join?
Yeah, if you sign up before the 8th of January, it's only $100. So it's
crazy. And they can learn something in there that helps them go viral, that changes their business forever. You don't know what the next thing is that's going to change your life. But what I can tell you powerful woman who's watching this, is you know deeply inside that you were made for more, and you do know your next right step. So whatever that is for you, wherever you feel your heart being led, whether that's working with me or Anna or both of us or something completely different, you know what you need to do. You know the action you need to take to not only build your business so you can be in this world where you can be a woman like me and Anna who's shameless, like, hey, I want to be a woman who's wealthy and uses my resources for good. You know the next step you need to take, but whatever that is for you, take it, because your world depends on it. Our world depends on it. We're all connected. We see how important this is. So please go out there, go get what you want. Anna, thank you for being on the show. You're a delight. Everyone go follow Anna. Can you call out your Instagram handle?
Yeah, my Instagram handle, it's my name. It's AnnaLekasMiller. That's AnnaLekasMiller. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. Buy my book if you're a reader. And I hope to be in touch with you soon and talk there.
Yes. You will, because your ideal client is ready to make the change. They're ready to learn how to stop doing what doesn't work on the internet and do what works, because your message is important to get out there. So if you're listening and you're like, I have a vision to share this news that people need to hear, you need to work with Anna. And if you've been feeling the call to work with me, now is the time. I keep saying it, but by the end of this month, the price will never be the same again. And it's going to go up by at least 2.5, 2x, nearly three times higher. So it's really important that if you've been feeling it, now is the time. And you can talk with me about how to pay for it. We want to help you. We want to help you. We want to get this knowledge into the hands of women who are purpose driven and who want to be fully supported so they can support others. So Anna, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And I can't wait to see your next viral video. Congratulations for listening to another episode of the Social Equity Podcast. Every moment you invest in building your brand is contributing to your social equity. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider, or you're just getting started building your brand from scratch, I can't wait to give you the first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 9 years in the industry, amassing over 350,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purposeful, profitable personal brands. So yeah, you should lean in and listen to the social media secrets, sales tips, marketing strategies, and mindset hacks I share. I want to help you build your dream business that makes real money, leveraging the power of a personal brand on social media. Because you're ready to quit wasting time on content that isn't working and start bringing in the money you deserve as a purpose-led coach or service provider, sharing your gifts with the world. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10K to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped Profitable Personal Brand Blueprint, the proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. To ask me questions in real time, join me on Instagram Live for the live podcast show. The schedule is always posted on my profile. My handle is @Sophia Spallino. And if you're tired of posting without a reliable strategy and posting without maximal profit, just like many of my clients were before, then you want to join the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Many of you asked how you can get me to coach you on building a profitable personal brand like the one I have. That's why I designed this coaching program, so you could have me coach you, guide you, and mentor you. This is for female coaches, service providers, and entrepreneurs who want to be known for purposeful work and build an extremely profitable personal brand on social media without wasting time. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck hitting a plateau in business that once had consistent revenue and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am very selective and this coaching program is not for everyone because I'm only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed soul sisters inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call now. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and get excited to take radical responsibility for building your social equity, your personal brand that no one can take from you, leave a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, with a positive mindset and a profitable personal brand, all things are possible. So go get up and go get what you want.